Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor, both of them. I mean, can you believe it? I'm still here. I had a great day today. I spent the afternoon with my niece and we went to the pool. And I was able to sit there for 3 entire hours. I could not really watch the kids in the pool, which is my favorite part. I did watch them a bit, and it was good. I was able to sit there. I didn't feel completely nauseous like the whole time, like I would have last year. So I was able to sit there. We spent a lot of time talking, so I focused mostly on her face. And because I always have to be doing something, I brought some nail polish and some little paint brushes, and we painted little flowers on our big toes. So that was adorable. And we brought a picnic. We had peanut butter and jelly, one of my favorites, and some chips and some amazing cherries from the local Food Lion and some snickerdoodles. They're vegan snickerdoodles. They're not fantastic, but anywho, so I had a really amazing day. And thank you, my niece, who was there. I'm just going to say your name, okay? Thank you, Emily. I love you so much. I'm so happy that you're so close to me and we can hang out together. Okay, is that all I wanted to say? Yeah, I'm working on my craft for another one, another craft. And I don't know if I said this already. So I hemmed a friend of mine's curtains. I don't know if that was grammatically correct, but there was some leftover fabric. And I really wanted to make this friend something creative with the leftover fabric. So I figured out what I was going to make a couple days ago. And so I've been working on it, and I made a huge breakthrough. I wasn't sure, I didn't know how to do this thing, and I'll show it off when I'm done. But I didn't really know how to do this. I've never done it before. And I wasn't quite sure if my sewing machine was going to be able to handle it or if I was going to break a needle. So I wore some safety glasses and it worked. So I am constructing this thing and I'm pretty excited about it. So I don't know if this friend listens to my podcast. I hope she does. But if you do, sorry, I doubted you. And I'm not saying what the surprise present is, but I will. Hopefully I'll finish it by the end of the month. I have 4 days. I don't want to put too much pressure on me, but it's pretty cool. I've never done it before. So I'm pretty excited also that two people today told me that they are sending me a picture of their craft of the month. So if you thought that the Recovery Daily podcast was going to go away, it is not going to go away because I had two people tell me how excited they are about their listener challenge this month. That means that I'm sticking around for a while because that totally boosted my excitement about having a community. So if you are doing the listener challenge, I mean it. Please send me a picture of whatever creative expression you've done for the month. You can send it to rachel@recoverydailypodcast.com. It can be anything, anything. You can sketch a picture on a piece of paper or whatever you want to do. Cook something, anything you want to do, take a before and after picture. And what we want to do, this initiative is aiming to embrace and demonstrate transformation and change and renewal. because that's what we're here to do in recovery. So I'm inviting you to please submit pictures, and I want to put them on my website. I want to put them on recoverydailypodcast.com/upcycling. So contact me and send it in. Okay, now we're on the topic. So the topic today is it's okay to not be okay. And this topic came from listening to my son's music today. So I don't know if you guys know this, but my son is a musician and he's got a pretty gigantic following online, and his name is Tristan Miller. And I will put the link to his stuff, his online music, in the description of the episode. And I love his music. I've been fortunate enough to been listening to it since he started, which was when he was a wee little boy. And if I can just reminisce for a moment with you, I'm going to close my eyes because my head is hurting. When he was little, what I was thinking about the other day, a couple days ago, was how if I really could, how am I going to say this? So, how I can tell from how, I don't know how to word this. Why am I having such a hard problem? How we can see from our children's behavior and what they do and love as children, it's so telling as to what they're going to be interested in when they grow up. So I was thinking of my son, and his is obvious. So I used to drive with the music on in the car. I was in my 20s, so I kind of had the music up probably louder than I would have in my 30s or my 40s. Anyway, from the moment that he got in the car with music, I don't even know if he was even like really talking yet, or walking. He used to sit in his car seat and he would bang his head on the car seat to the rhythm of the music, like this, like he was rocking, but he was slamming his head on the back of the car seat. And I was always like, stop banging your head. You're gonna jar your brain. But he just loved music. He loved being in the car with this music playing. And now he's loved music ever since. He picked up a guitar. His dad's like rickety, terrible guitar when he was young, and he never put it down. I mean, he's been playing the guitar for years. He's 26 now, and is making music. He writes the songs, he plays the guitar, he plays the drums, he plays the keyboard. I mean, he puts the whole thing together and has music videos sometimes and stuff like that. So I really enjoy him. I love his music. And it's not just because he's my son. I actually like the genre. There's a couple that are not my thing, but most of his music is very catchy and I enjoy it. He's in West Virginia. I don't know. Anyway, one of his songs, one of the lyrics says, "It's okay to not be okay. It shows that I'm not insane," or something like that. So anyway, I grabbed that topic, and that's why that's the topic today. It's okay to not be okay. And that's probably leading you to ask, well, what did my daughter do that led her to, that was so obvious to me that she was going to be an environmental science specialist? Well, she always had to be outside, always. It didn't matter if it was cold, it was hot, it was rainy, it was storming. It didn't matter. She always had to be outside. And it's always been that way. That's why she played soccer. I think because she needed something that was outdoors. and something that she could burn a lot of her energy. And it turns out that she is now a watershed specialist right out of school, immediately right out of school. So she spends all of her days outside, and she educates students and does things for the county that she's in. And she loves it. She gets to be creative and active and outside. So I think it's really cool. I was just thinking about that, how if we really watch our kids when they're little and tiny, we can see the things that pull them, the interests that pull them to the what things pulls them into whatever. I don't know. Words are not easy today. I don't know what's happening. Okay, let's move on, shall we? So what I wanted to talk about is how acknowledging that we're not okay, it's okay to not be okay, acknowledging that can have positive impacts on our lives. So first and foremost, I want to acknowledge that life is always going to give us times when things are not okay. It's unrealistic to think that things are gonna be okay all the time. They're not, right? Life has ups and downs, and we can't expect to be happy all the time. So that means that feeling not okay is a natural part of the human experience. So we're starting from the very beginning. And it doesn't mean that when we're not okay, that we're failing at something. When things are not okay, it doesn't mean that things are always going to not be okay. It doesn't, that's catastrophizing. And that's what I do. When the smallest thing happens, I feel like it will never get corrected, um, or I feel like if something doesn't work out, that I suck and I fail at this and I'm never going to be good at this, so in fact, just recognizing and accepting that I'm not okay, and that's all right, is beneficial. And I'm going to talk about why that is. So when we allow ourselves to feel not okay, when we allow ourselves to not immediately feel like we have to fix it, when we allow ourselves to sit in the not okay, to acknowledge the not okay, we're opening the door to genuine self-awareness. And this self-awareness is the first step to growth. By acknowledging that things suck for the moment, we are giving ourselves permission to start looking at underlying causes. Are we feeling overwhelmed? Are we stressed? Are we lonely? Have we been triggered by something? Halt. Are we hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? Those are the 4 that always work for me. Again, that was halt. And if you're not aware of that, that's something that I learned in my sobriety program. Hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. Those are typically why I'm not okay. It's usually one of those reasons. And I have shared that particularly with my daughter, that think about that when things are, and usually she's tired. Usually every time something's really wrong, she's tired. So understanding the root of our discomfort allows us to address it more effectively. However, remember from yesterday that we don't want to spend too much time in the why and transition over to the what and the how so that we can take action to get into the benefits of being not okay, which is a different angle to look at it, right? Take advantage of, okay, here's an opportunity for growth. It's knocking on my door, so let's do it. So one of the most significant positive impacts of feeling not okay is that it encourages vulnerability, getting comfortable being vulnerable. And I was kind of forced into vulnerability and getting comfortable in it when I entered into sobriety. And it didn't feel good at all. But in as I let myself be vulnerable in front of other people, which again, I didn't have a choice. I had to stop drinking, and the only way that I was going to stay sober is to let all of that yuckiness out of me. And the only time I can do it is, I have to share it with other people in the program. And it was embarrassing at first, really, to be crying in front of these people, these strangers. But as I did longer, and it took months, I began to realize that vulnerability is actually a strength. It's not a weakness. When we admit to ourselves and to others that we're struggling, we create opportunities for connection and to get the support that we need. It's in those moments of honesty that we can really find our allies in life, our friends, and we are able to truly understand that we're not unique and we're not alone. I don't want to be unique. Lately, I feel like so many of these next generations that are coming up, it's like people want to be unique. Like the young folks want to be different. I don't want to fall into any bucket. I want to be different. I want to stand out. I want to stand for people that are different. That's great. 100%, I support that. But I think what's missing there is the importance of identifying that we are not unique, that as much as I want to stand out, I'm not the only one who feels the feelings that I have. And it's so hard, I think, for some of these youngsters, I sound like an old person, some of these youngsters who really are finding they're fulfilling that need to be different, but they're separating themselves so much from the crowd that it's more difficult to find similarities in mental health, because there are people that fall into a crowd of, let's say jocks at work, at school. So there's all these people who fall into the jocks group. And then there's the people who fall into drama, like the people who do the plays. So the drama nerds, that's what we called them back then. I was one of those, so I'm allowed to say that. I was also a jock too at the same time. But my mental health as a drama nerd is no different than a football player or a soccer player. Just because I fell into this bucket doesn't mean that it was like, because I fell into this bucket, I was able to have more conversations about how I felt with my teammates. I was a part of a team. When an individual tries so hard to be unique and not fall into a bucket, I feel like they find themselves isolating, making it more difficult to identify with other people, because I don't care who you are. I don't care what gender you are, what you look like, anything like that. You are a human being and you're going to have similar feelings as me. You just are. That's what we do as human beings. And I don't know. I kind of went on a tangent, but it's so important to understand that we're not unique. I guess that was the point that I was getting to, is that I just feel like these days people want to be unique, and that's great, but I think it's more important to know we're not unique, and that others experience similar feelings as us. So I'll stop on that tangent. So this shared understanding can be incredibly comforting and motivating and nurturing to build relationships. So that's even more important when you're not feeling okay, right? So, moreover, accepting that it's okay to not be okay helps us build resilience, helps us to be able to bounce back easier. Um, if I'm catastrophizing when I'm not okay, then I'm not seeing a solution. I'm not orienting my mindset towards a solution. But if I don't catastrophize and I say, all right, I'm a human being, it's okay. It's okay that I'm not okay, I am that much closer to finding a solution instead of swimming, marinating in this pool of being not okay. Life is obviously going to always throw challenges our way. Sometimes they're big challenges like a stroke and alcoholism. Sometimes they're little challenges. But being able to navigate these is so important to long-term mental wellness. And when we face our struggles head on without covering them up with alcohol, or I was thinking today, sleep. Um, I I'm good at covering up my not okays with sleep. I like to go hide in my bed. And these things like alcohol and sleep, not facing my struggles, but ignoring them, are keeping me from learning coping strategies and developing a stronger sense of inner strength. I have to sit in the stuff that doesn't feel good, and I have to tell myself that it's okay that it doesn't feel good. It's okay that I don't know what I'm doing. It's okay that you know, that I'm learning things the hard way. I learned a crap load of stuff the hard way. And my folks in my family know that I'm it seems like I'm the one in the family that learned everything the hard way. Um, I don't know why that is, but that's just the way that I did it. But each time I overcame something difficult, I became more equipped to handle something more difficult in the future. So and I'm grateful for that. I really am. I'm grateful for that because I feel pretty freaking strong now after everything that I've been going through. It doesn't mean that something even harder might not be ahead of me. It might be, but I have to be okay with not being okay with whatever it is. I just had a deja vu. Okay. Another positive impact of feeling not okay is that it fosters self-compassion, self-love. In recovery, we deal with a lot of times guilt and shame and self-criticism, again, catastrophizing life, stuff that happens to us, and allowing ourselves to feel not okay teaches us to be a little more gentle with ourselves and reminds us it's okay to have bad days and it's okay to reach out and ask for help. And this self-compassion is critical for maintaining a healthy, balanced recovery. I ask myself this all the time, how would I treat a child who was feeling the way that I feel right now? How would I treat a child? That's how I should treat myself. I often think about my daughter and my son, and I think if they felt what I feel right this minute, what would I tell them? And that changes my attitude right around because I'm learning to love myself as much as I love my children. And that is not only that, but I'm learning that I deserve to be just as happy as I want my children to be. I should want that for myself as well. And that's what I'm trying to do, I'm trying. And it's hard. I'm sure it's just as hard for me as it is for them. Um so feeling okay can also be feeling not okay can also be a powerful motivator for change. When we sit with our discomfort, it can highlight areas of our lives that need attention or adjustment. Maybe we need to set better boundaries. I talked about that yesterday. Maybe we need to seek some therapy. Maybe we need to make changes in our daily routine. Our discomfort can be a signal that something isn't working and prompt us to take proactive steps towards improvement. Lastly, accepting that it's okay to not be okay helps us appreciate the good moments even more. Life has to have these highs and these lows. When we experience the lows, it makes the highs that much more joyful. We learn to cherish the moments of peace, joy, and contentment because we understand their value. Um, Today, the past 2 days, I have felt such a sense of relief. Um, and I was trying to think about why that is. Why the past 2 days have I really just felt ah, like I felt like I can just breathe and relax. Um, and probably a multitude of things. From I don't have a doctor's appointment. The past couple days I haven't had a doctor's appointment. Um, my husband has been off work for the past couple days. The weather has been nice. I'm working on some crafts that I enjoy. I just feel like things are okay. Things have always been okay, but I also have a headache all the time, and I think about all the things that I can't do a lot of times. And the past couple days, I haven't been thinking about what I can't do. But that also might be because my head isn't hurting as bad and I feel like I can do a little more. I say that as I'm closing my eyes for a lot of this episode because my head hurts. But I think that's because I went to the pool today for 3 hours. So anyway, going to the pool for 3 hours is unheard of last year. That would have been unheard of. So it's progress and it's making me feel good. And that's cool. Um, and I think looking back on all the time that I haven't been okay over the past few years helps me to appreciate more that I'm okay right now, and that's what I mean by that. So, what can you do if you find yourself in a place of not being okay? I jotted down some ideas for you. You can acknowledge your feelings, don't suppress them or ignore them. Allow yourself to feel and recognize it's okay that I do not feel okay right now. Period. It's okay. This is fine. This is fine. There's nothing, the world isn't falling apart. It is okay that I don't feel okay. Even if your world is falling apart, it's okay that you don't feel good about that. Of course you don't. But what can you do now that you've recognized that I don't feel okay? And if you, and doing that, I'm saying it as if it's this nice, calm acknowledgement that you're like, um, things are not looking so well right now, and I'm not okay. I realize that that might be more like things are terrible and there's some curse words in there and I'm effing pissed off and things suck at the moment. Like I understand that it might be ugly to be acknowledging that you're not okay, and that's fine. Um, Another thing after you've acknowledged your feelings is to reach out and talk to somebody, anyone. It doesn't matter who it is, honestly. If you're in a sobriety program, call your sponsor. If your sponsor's not available, talk to anyone else in your network. Just keep calling someone until someone answers. And if you're not in a sobriety network, I'm going to fix the camera. Hi. Um, So if you're not in a sobriety network, you don't have to do anything differently than somebody in a sobriety network. And that is to pick up the phone and call somebody. And if that person doesn't answer, call somebody else and keep calling somebody until somebody answers. And if you end up talking to somebody who you don't particularly want to share your deepest, darkest secrets with, ask them how they're doing, because shifting that focus might help you a little bit, believe it or not. So talk to somebody, um, practice some self-care, engage in some activities that nourish your mind, your body, and your spirit. And this could be anything from taking a walk around the block to taking a bath or doing some sort of creative hobby, something that is going to not keep you idle. An idle, like, what do they say? An idle body is something mind. I don't know. You know what it is. Okay, next, reflect. Take a brief time to understand what might be causing your discomfort. And journaling can be a helpful tool for this. Again, don't take too much time sitting in the why, because what's really important is to acknowledge the why and then figure out the what and the how, the action part. So the action part, you can set a small goal. Focus on small, manageable steps to address your feelings and improve your situation. Remember that it's okay to not be okay. Try to look forward instead of looking backward. And that again is the focusing on the what and the how instead of the why. And be honest with yourself, for goodness sakes, like be honest and be compassionate, because if you ignore what's wrong, that something is not okay with you, then it's just going to get worse. You're not okay whether you acknowledge it or not. So be honest with yourself. The sooner that you can say, I am not okay. That pissed me off and I am not okay. The sooner that you can acknowledge that, the more compassionate and self-love that you can give to yourself. And then you can get into the vulnerability, right? Getting comfortable in the vulnerability, strengthening that resilience by figuring out what your next step is and how you're going to bounce back. And that is going to help cultivate some self-love. And by doing it over and over again, it becomes a habit. It really does become a habit. And I am proof of that. I have not always been like this stuff that I'm talking about. I was never, this is a foreign language. If I heard myself saying this 20 years ago, I would have been like, who is that lady saying all of that stuff? She's so wise. This is stuff I learned in my sobriety program. That's it. And the reason why I feel like I can articulate it is because I've been living it every day. So I've just been trying really hard to put it into words for other people. And all of this stuff is just building blocks. Each thing that I share with you is just a building block for having a strong, healthy recovery. And if you're not in recovery, a strong, healthy life. And yeah, so don't give up on yourself, and just continue to self-reflect. Sometimes you're really, really not okay, and sometimes you're just a little bit not okay, right? And that's fine to acknowledge also, that there are different levels of not okay. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Recovery Daily Podcast. If you found this discussion helpful, please share it with others who might benefit. Emily, thank you for sharing it with your friend. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I will talk to you tomorrow.